This evening for the 2025 Report Out Community Tour. I'm so happy to see a lot of friendly faces in the auditorium space. I recognize many of you from 2 years ago. It has been 2 years ago since we got together at the Y and participated in a listening session. So thank you for those who are coming back, and thank you for those who are joining us for the first time. I'm happy to have Mayor with me this evening and your newest City Council member, Kimberly Gold. And I am Courtney Brown. I am the city's strategic plan manager, and I'm in the mayor's office. And so I will be guiding us this evening, sharing with you what the lay of the land will be. So again, thank you for being here. Tonight is really about marking the midpoint of Mayor Yemi's administration. We have kicked off this tour 2 sessions ago at Zeal Church. This is now our 3rd session. And this is about having an opportunity to share with you, to receive honest feedback and perspective and ideas, and to help us problem solve a bit. It's an update. Mayor will provide an update. Councilmember Gold will provide some of her reflections for us to engage and really help discover ways in which we can continue to move forward together. We're especially grateful to be in Sierra High School. I said we'd be back, and we are back in Sierra High School, and this is a place near and dear to my heart as I attended my freshman year here, and so it's nice to be back at Sierra High School. So I want to thank the team for really helping us make tonight possible. So I want to also thank Councilmember Gold for helping just get us set up for this evening and for being willing to dialogue with all of you. So I want to also talk about our shared commitment tonight. We are in a great space of communication, and we want to make sure that we are respecting all of the ideas and perspectives that get presented tonight. We also want to make sure that this is a space of deep collaboration and problem solving. We are asking your help with keeping us honest with time. Much of the program will be timed, and so once we do the live polling and we have our breakout group discussions, I will be keeping you abreast of the time that we have before the next segment. And finally, each of you will be seated at tables if you so choose to participate, and have a facilitator there to help guide discussions and a scribe that will be taking notes. And so we just want to be kind to them as well. So for tonight's format, which I know you all are waiting to hear, Mayor will give and Councilmember Gold will give their opening remarks, and then we'll transition from there into live polling session. So I don't know how many of you have participated in a live poll, but that's what we'll get to play a game of doing tonight. City staff will not participate, so we won't skew some of the results. Then we'll have breakout group discussions. When you registered or when you walked in this evening, we asked you what priority area concerned you most and what you wanted to share your thoughts and ideas with us. And so what we did is we tried to place you in those priority areas based on your preference. After we conclude with the breakout group discussions, we will then come back together in the auditorium space, and Mayor Yemi and Councilwoman Gold will give their reflections and takeaway from the breakout group discussions, and then we'll have closing thoughts and perhaps maybe a few minutes to visit with one another or with Mayor and Councilwoman Gold. So, without further ado, I want to turn things over to Councilwoman Gold.
We're really fortunate to have Courtney in our city as our strategic planner. She keeps us on track. Thank you everybody for being here. My name is Kimberly Gold. I do want to first acknowledge some other elected officials in the room. So I have my colleague, Councilmember Dave Lineweber, here with us. If you don't know, know, in the body of City Council, Councilmember Lineweaver is a huge proponent for the Southeast, and he often advocates alongside advocates for the Southeast, so thank you. I also want to acknowledge we have several school board members in the audience, so if you could please stand to be acknowledged. And the last acknowledgement I would like to do is if you have run or are running for office, I would love for you to stand to be acknowledged. Folks in the room that aren't standing, but it takes a lot to run for office, and I think we need to always honor folks who are willing to do such great public service in support of our city, our state, or whatever level of government. As many of you know, I'm less than 60 days in. I might be at like 42. Nobody's counting though. And it's been a really exciting time since being sworn in on April 15th. To say that it's a lot to learn would be an understatement. But as I look across the room, I see so many friends and so many friendly faces. And I also want to acknowledge that there's some folks in here who consistently show up for City Council. And that is so important because we need to have more representation so that it's not just me hearing the needs of the Southeast or the needs of the city. It's from District 4 residents, that is. It's everybody hearing it. So I encourage everyone at their time, availability, passion, advocacy, please show up for City Council to speak on what's on your heart or on your mind. And in the absence of that, please reach out to us via email. On that note, many of you may know that we have an election happening right now, a special election. Ballots are due June 17th, so please make sure you turn those ballots in. If you were to ask me what I would love to see as an outcome of being your District 4 representative, it would be at the end of this 4 terms when we re-elect whoever, or elect whoever, that we have double, triple the number of turnout. I'm going to get a little fired up here and say that if us in District 4, if we showed up in full force with our voting power, we could likely sway every single election. I really want you to let that sink in. Every single election. So we absolutely must use our voice in District 4. It is vital, it is necessary, we must be on boards and commissions. So I'm asking you to, the next time we do this, let's pack the room with registered voters who are active, engaged, and in every elected official space about the issues that we must solve in our city, that we must solve in the Southeast. On a lighter note, I do have the pleasure of introducing our wonderful mayor. I do want to share with you, even though he might beat me for this a little bit, he is a little under the weather today. And so for that, we are really appreciative of his presence. No days off for Mr. Mayor. Please give him some grace as he presents to you today. Thank you.
Good evening. It's good to see you all. Many of you I consider personal friends. Many of you were part of my 100-day listening session. And here we are again. So it means a lot that you all showed up. You're not showing up for me. Make no mistake about it. You're showing up for this district, for your neighborhood, and for your families. That's what tonight is about. Kimberly, thank you for your friendship and your partnership in this work we call city government. As a council member, thank you for being here tonight as well. You're a champion of so many good things in our community. There are a lot of legends in the house. I mean, I'm looking at so many Southside leaders, and I hate to start to name them, but I gotta call out my OG, Pastor Ben. The first leader that I met when I lived here 15 years ago, and one of the leaders who encouraged me to run for office. District 2 Board of Education members, I see you all. Thank you. Michelle Hill, that wonderful cake. Thank you for being back here over the holiday. And I'm sorry I held your cake carrier for that long, so my apologies. Dr. Pamela Robinson, Joyce Salazar, J.J. Fraser, all of you, thank you for your leadership. To the Harrison School 2, District 2 Executive Team, friends of mine, Chief Communications Officer, Christina Bryan, another friend, Chief of Financial Officer, Corey Arteries, and my fellow Mayor's Young Leader Award recipient, 2023 Colorado Superintendent of the Year, and most recently, the 2025 Women in School Leadership Award winner, Dr. Wendy Burgess. This is truly heartfelt. When other districts are struggling, this district is thriving. So I gotta learn from you what you're doing with leadership, because it's working and it's shining. I do want a special thank you to the principal and the assistant principal, the home of the Stallions. Woo-hoo! Cynthia, and the entire Sierra High School team, thank you. And to you, our esteemed guests, again, thank you for being here. So, as you've heard this Friday will mark my, and by the way, if you work for the City of Colorado Springs, if you're on my team, please stand up. I want this group to see you. Deputy Fire Chief, Economic Development, Airport Interim Active Director, Public Works, City Auditor. The City Auditor is here. And the reason why I asked them to stand is we have a team of people who are committed to serving you. So they span across every division of the department. So they're here to also hear from you directly, but they're also here to connect with you. So please make time to connect with them as well. So, if you don't know, when I moved to the city 15 years ago, Southeast has always been a part of my heart and story. A number of you are part of my journey. Whether it was my time as a pastor, as a small business owner, as an economic developer, as a city staffer, and now as mayor, I've been working to support the flourishing of this community. And so as I hit this 2-year, what we're calling halftime report, I want to talk through, reflect on where we've been and where we're going, and look, and also as we look ahead to receive new information from you. So I know a number of you are wondering, the Southeast Strong Plan, I'm going to be a part of that. I know it's got to be at least 2/3 of the room, so thank you. That document now lives in my office. I am reviewing it, and we're almost done, and I am looking forward to a media conference with you and a councilwoman Gold, and that document is really important for Southeast, because it's important that Southeast remains a place where families thrive, businesses prosper, cultures are celebrated, voices are heard, and where every Southeast resident is valued and has a say in shaping the future of the district. And you did that. So please know that it's not just a document that will sit on the shelf. I hate that. It's got to be a roadmap. So my team and I will use it whenever there's a project we consider or some kind of conversation in Southeast. We're going to pick it up and take a look at it to ensure that the opportunity, inclusion, safety, and growth of this region is incorporated. So, last time we gathered, at a similar gathering, it was 100 days. I think we met at the YMCA, no, it wasn't the YMCA, it was Hillside. I think we met at Hillside. Was it YMCA? Okay, it was YMCA. You got it. Thank you, Dee. I know you're always there to help me out. So, with all 6 districts and a virtual one, 1,000 people attended session. We collected a total of about 2,300 pieces of feedback. And what do we do with that feedback? I'm glad you asked. 3 documents we incorporated this feedback into. Number 1 is a city strategic plan. By law, Our city charter says the mayor has to have a strategic plan that guides his activities on behalf of the residents. So yes, the law says that, but even more than the law, it's good practice. So your feedback has helped shape what we're doing on your behalf. So for the next 4 years, we have a plan, thanks to you. Plans are great, but we have to partner these plans with action. That's where the other 2 documents come in. 2024 Strategic Doing Action Plan. I hope you can see the emphasis on action. It's not enough to just plan. And if you want to see what we got done last year, it's on the city's website. 2025 Strategic Doing Action Plan. There's 101 items that we are working on your behalf. Now, I gotta tell you, there's probably 5,000 items that we're doing every day. But we prioritize 101 items because those items you said were very important. And so, because they're important to you, they're important to me. So, our vision is for Colorado Springs to be safe, economically prosperous, culturally rich, welcoming, and vibrant world-class American city that shines brightly. We bring this vision to life through 5 pillars: public safety, infrastructure, housing and homelessness, economic vitality, and community activation. Again, those pillars were defined by the residents of Colorado Springs. I'm going to talk through each of the 5 pillars right now and give you an update on where we're at, what we've done, and also some of the enduring challenges that still remain. So the first and foremost, the number 1 most important, yes, if you want to track our progress, you can see it there on the screen. We'll take you to our website. So let's go through each 5 pillars. And one more thing, actually, I do want to give my mayor's fellows. A number of you are here, so thank you all for being here to support this cause. So I see you guys too as well. And we'll probably be doing towards the end of the year, if you want to join this incredible fellowship to learn more about the highest level of city government in our community and transform that education and opportunity to action, I'd love for you to be a part of the new class of fellows. Thomas is back there. You can talk to him or talk to the other fellows as well. Okay, let's go through all 5 pillars quickly because I also want to hear from you. So, pillar number 1, public safety. This is my most important function of my job by law and by city code. And we have advanced our public safety efforts by hiring 222 new police officers, putting staff in over 800 for the first time in our city's history. We've been behind. So if you're wondering why, when you call 911 and it takes us a while to get there, we've been playing catch up. Same thing with our call center folks. For the first time since 2016, we now have enough call center folks so that when you call, people actually answer your call. The police department launched the Real-Time Crime Center. This is a command center that allows us to leverage technology in our public safety efforts. And also, the drone as a first responder. So we can send a drone there in 2 minutes instead of you having to wait for an officer, but they will still be there. So we know ahead of time what's going on. And you know what? It actually has contributed to citizen safety and officer safety because we know what the issue is ahead of time, and it helps with de-escalation. Thank you. That's public safety is downstream responding, but it's also upstream. And this is where community solutions in partnership with organizations like One Body ENT is paramount. So D. Smith, Men of Influence, thank you for your work. Because the reality is, when people call city government, that means something has happened. When you call 911, it's too late. And Men of Influence is helping and partnering to ensure that we can stop crime and violence, and so that you don't have to call 911. So thank you as well. Colorado Springs Fire Department, yes, let's give it up for them. Colorado Springs Fire Department, I see you, led by Chief Randy Royal, who was last year named the International Fire Chief of the Year. Out of all 22,000 in the country, Randy Royal was the Fire Chief of the Year. We broke ground on Station 24, and we opened Station 25 right here in southeast Colorado Springs. This new station is more than just a building. It truly is a promise to our southeast residents and families in these areas, especially when you're close to peak innovation by the airport and neighborhoods, so that the southeast can receive help when it needed the most. I'm really excited about this program that our fire department started, the first in the state. It's called the Whole Blood Program. My wife, who's an ICU nurse, is obsessed with this one because what it now allows paramedics to carry whole blood and deliver life-saving transfusions right there at the scene of the accident. So, 85% success rate of lives that we have saved, and cutting down the time from having to transport to the hospital. So thank you all for leading this innovative work. What was actually special about that, when the program really started, and a mother and a baby were saved because we were able to bring blood to them. And it made it real because I got a chance to hold that baby at my office. It was unbelievable and special. So that's the good news. Here's what's challenging. The work remains. We're not even close. We need the funding, we need the resources to move the needle. That includes investment in upstream solutions, personnel, equipment, training, technology, and beyond. Because our city is growing, so must our public safety efforts. Okay, number 2, infrastructure. Roads, parks, transportation, airport, and beyond. All right, let's start with potholes, because that's always on everyone's mind. Yes, potholes. Amen. In fact, I just reported potholes today on South Nevada, and I learned from Travis Easton, my deputy chief. I don't think he's here for this one. He was at the last one. He said, Mayor, you're the only one that has reported that one so far. And so I'm going to skip ahead. Here's my call to action. I need your help. We don't have the resources to pay people to drive the city. If you see a pothole, please report it as soon as you can. Go COS app is one way. It's especially if you're a millennial, Gen Z, I see you. I know you love technology. And the Go COS app works really well. You can also call 719-385-ROAD. That's another way to report it. Or just go on the city's website. Just for some data that you might be interested in. This time last year, there was 500 more requests that you all requested. So we are less. And we have more potholes this year. Why? Rain, snow, more rain. It's going to rain over the next 3 to 4 days. If you grew up in the Midwest like I did, especially in the winter, when it snowed, the snow stayed on the ground, and the ground is frozen the whole season. That's why we don't have as much potholes there. One of the joys of living in Colorado is that if it snows, the sun's going to come out and everything's going to melt. But this freeze, thaw, sometimes we have almost 200 of them in a season. And what that does is it creates these cracks in our roads. The water seeps and then potholes. Please report them. My team will address it as fast within the week, truly. Potholes is only a band-aid solution. We need something a little bit more lasting. And that's where the 2C Road Improvement Program, that's where that comes in. I gotta thank you all. Because of you, we can repave our roads for another 10 years. So we wanna go in there and repave it and get more out of the life as opposed to just fixing potholes every year. And that passed last November with a 73 approval, the highest win of any Colorado ballot initiative last November, and you made it happen. If you're interested to see if your neighborhood is on that list, also go on the city website. We're playing catch up, and we got to catch up on all our city infrastructure. One of the good news is, especially in District 4, we're catching up on all the major capital improvements. So, like Circle Drive bridges, one of the 4 longest bridges in our city, we are replacing that. And we should get another Rich, maybe another 40, 50 years from it. I mean, you can think about how long ago that bridge was replaced. So we have the funding to replace some of those. Others that are coming soon are the second southern segment of South Academy. We're going to do that later this year, so watch out for the June an open house. I know there was a lot of pain point especially with our business owners, with all the work we've done in South Academy. I hear you, we see you, we're learning, we're growing, and even with Take Home Street downtown, they benefited from some of the challenges that we have because we're learning to communicate, to go over and above communicating with our residents. US 24 Peterson project is starting soon. Powers and Airport project, which is a state project, the Colorado Department of Transportation, and that's also starting soon, and that one will go through 2026. All right, Keep It Clean COS program. This is the city's efforts to keep our city clean. Last year we cleaned 55,000 tons of pure trash from our streets, parks, waterways, filling over 1,300 dump trucks. And still, it's not enough. It needs to be a shared responsibility. That's why last Saturday, we had our Keep It Clean initiative. Some of you were part of that, so thank you. And just last Saturday, we had 25 truckloads of trash and over 3,000 pounds of trash were picked up. So what I'm trying to do is just not make it a government responsibility. I want it to be a shared responsibility with our families. One of my favorite stories is a story of a grandma who would keep the name confidential, and her son, they go on walks. And every time they go on walks in the neighborhood park, they just pick up the trash. And I love that her grandson is learning civic responsibility. And a number of you, I know Kayland does one Saturday a month, and a number of you are already involved in this effort. So let's make sure we can call the rest of the city to action to take responsibility in keeping our city clean. Colorado Springs Airport continues to expand its air service. Alex, thank you for the great work you're doing. This Saturday, June 7th, now we'll be able to fly to Cancun, Mexico. That's a big deal. We will be the second airport in the state with international status. To this point, it's been only DIA. So our airport is growing. Fly COS, go to Cancun. I mean, everyone here looks like they need a vacation. I need a vacation too. Maybe I'm talking to myself that I really need a vacation. But even if you don't go to Cancun, just fly COS, because the more you fly out of COS, the more the airlines justify adding more nonstop options, which ultimately that's what we want. The way to fly from Colorado Springs directly to different parts of the country. Parks, I don't know if Brett is here. Thank you for the great work that the Parks team is doing. Soon we're celebrating the ribbon cutting of the upgrades we've had at Guardian of the Gods Park, all the accessibility upgrades, the new water line system with 8 fire hydrants now, which is essential for visitor and resident safety and wildfire protection. We broke ground on Greyhawk Park in northeast Colorado Springs, and we are working on a new parks system master plan. This is another opportunity for your feedback to help shape how we invest our very, 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 very limited resources. Okay, number 3, housing and homelessness. Housing affordability and availability is a critical issue, not just for you and me. And I'm talking our teachers, our nurses, our firefighters, our military. When I meet with all our military partners, when I ask the generals how Colorado Springs can support them, number 1 is always housing. Number 2 is childcare. Who said that? Oh, that's not fair. He's attended my last 2. The 3 of them in front. Have a last yes. So you're right, it is childcare. But we gotta support our military partners because if our soldiers have to worry about all this family needs, they cannot focus on their mission. So housing is a big one, not just for our military partners, but for many of us. We're losing that edge in our community. But I'm also excited about the potential for instant manufactured housing or the hybrid manufactured housing that retains the same quality as traditionally built homes, but brings the cost low. Open homes, classic homes, experimenting with that. I'm also proud of the solutions from our churches. Pastor Ben and Solid Rock are leading the way. Other churches are doing it now. Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church. Woodland Valley Church, New Life Church, all dedicated excess church land to invest in housing. We are leading the way in the Yes, God's Backyard movement in the state. And I also got to give a shout out to Harrison School District. You also too are leading the way in what it looks like to use excess school land for housing for teachers. So Wendy's Village, I can't wait. Thank you. Thank you. Because when that's successful, you better believe I'm going to be calling all the other superintendents and asking them to do the same as well. So thank you for leading the way in that incredible solution. With homeless, we have a new plan that will guide our activities for the next 4 or 5 years. We will balance compassion to our homeless, unhoused residents with compassion to you, the families, the business owners. That is really, really important. It's a hard balance to strike, but we will strike it with enforcement and cleanup. We will also do street outreach for mental health and addiction recovery, and then we're also going to do connections to housing and supportive services. All right, number 4. Since I've started this job, we've been celebrating the economy. And it's true our city's economy has grown over the last 5 years by 30%. And it is true that the city last year approved 8 major economic development agreements. And if all these businesses follow through, that would translate to $650 million in new capital investment, $24 million projected new revenue to the city, and 900 new jobs. Peak Innovation Park here in Southeast is contributing greatly to the success. It's home to Amazon and a growing number of defense companies. So, that is worth celebrating. But let's be real. There are also a lot of challenges. Times are tough. If you're paying attention to the news, you can see there's a lot of uncertainty around the economy. We are seeing signs of a slowing economy. I'm hearing something to the likes of 2020 or even 2008. So we're paying close attention. This is why we are also leaning in to support our small business community, which often they are affected the most. And we are doubling down on our efforts to support our small businesses. Shekinah, I don't know if you're here. I see you. Shekinah just waved in the back. She is the city's small business development administrator. Her job is to support small businesses. That's a job I had before I ran for office. I did that job for 3 years, left, and then came back as mayor. And it's been great to hire a replacement. So no pressure, Shekinah. That means you have to run for mayor now. But with Shekinah's leadership, Jesse Kimber, who heads up economic development, we have resources like Business Navigator, Permanent Partner, COS Open for Biz. So if you know anybody that needs help, those are great places to start. And last but not the least, community vitality. When we talk about cleanup efforts, that's you taking action on your own community's flourishing. Another way we did that last year was the 1,000 neighborhood gathering. You responded. The numbers are amazing. The stories are equally incredible. And people already started doing it already again this year, even without the city's permission. Yes, that's what we want. You don't need us. I love that we're still Neighbors campaign, and to see that new initiatives are being birthed without the city. And that's what community vitality is all about. you taking ownership of your own city's flourishing. It's not just government's responsibility, it's our shared responsibility. And I believe those efforts really helped us to be named last year as the #1 most neighborly city in America. Mental health care is a big part of that. Collectively, if we have a community mental well-being, collectively is high, guess what? Everything, those numbers all rise up too in the most positive way. So we are trying to make sure that you have easier access to those mental health resources and compassion of also Councilmember Lineweber as well. This is why he went for office. He believes that if we don't do those upstream solutions, we're not going to really move the needle. So with his leadership, my wife's leadership, and others in the room, Pikes Peak Rising is the first collection of over 40 organizations in the Pikes Peak region, all working together to make access easier. We have the state's public portal for mental health resources. Thank you to El Paso County. Pikes Peak Rising 360 is a great place to start. I've gone there to use it. If you or somebody else needs a place to start, it's a great place for vetted resources for you or your family's mental well-being. So these are our collective efforts to continue to build a city of great neighbors and great neighborhoods. A city that is safe, economically prosperous, culturally rich, and a vibrant world-class American city on a hill that shines brightly. Okay, so let's play this game. It's anonymous, but we get to hear from you. And I'm looking forward, Councilman Mobolade and I are looking forward to seeing your results and responding to it as well. Thank you.
Playing our game. So there's a QR code. If you would prefer, you could go to www.kahoot.it, and the game pin is 442178. So as folks start to pop on, you can choose to use your real name or an anonymous name. This is a time for you to make up a character if you like. And as you see behind the QR code, people are popping on to play. I'll give you a few moments to do that. Once we get enough folks signed in, we'll get started. You'll see at the bottom, your left, my right, of the screen, there's the total number of participants for the game.
Yeah.
How many do we have playing? I'm lying. 34, 35 so far. Okay. You don't have to play. We just hope that you will play. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We've got 41 signed in right now to play, and if at any time you want to jump in and you haven't signed on yet, you most certainly can. We have a total of 17 questions. We'll be asking you roughly 3 questions per strategic priority area. We're starting with resident district affiliation, so we can get an idea of how many folks in attendance that are playing our game are actually registered residents of this district. That really helps us understand the information that we're getting back with the polling. So, first question, do you live in the city council district where this session is being held? Yes or no? And you can see you guys are good at this. 42 people have answered so far, and that's our countdown. Usually, that number doesn't go really quickly until halfway through this game, so you guys are a smart bunch. As we proceed through the questions, Towards the end, it'll show you by question how we all are voting, so we'll be able to talk about that a little bit. So, yes, 62% of you are from this district, 38% of you are not. So that was much better than last week. First question for public safety. This enables us to gain an understanding on how you feel as residents of this district with trust and how well we're balancing innovation and policing, emergency and responsiveness. So first question, how confident are you in the city's ability to respond effectively to emergencies? Those emergencies being fire, police, natural disasters, etc. Extremely confident, very confident, moderately confident, slightly confident. If anyone needs help with getting onto the app, just wave your hand and we'll have a city person come and help you. Paige? Yes. Thank you. All right, so what it looks like, we've got 36% of you is moderately confident in our city's ability to respond effectively to emergencies, followed by very confident at 30%. Third, 18% said slightly confident, followed by not confident at all, and then 5% extremely confident. So thank you for that. Second question. How safe do you feel in your neighborhood during the day? Extremely safe, very safe, moderately safe, slightly safe, not safe at all. So click the option that best fits your feeling. Oh, moving fast, look at that. So, it looks like a majority, 20 of you, 43% feel very safe, followed by extremely safe at 24%, moderately safe at 22%, not safe at all at 7%, and then slightly safe at 4%. Third and final question for public safety. How important is it to invest in community-based safety initiatives, such as Neighborhood Watch, violence prevention, youth programs? Extremely important, very important, moderately important, slightly important, not important at all. Everybody's in, so we have at 44%, 20 of you say very important, these programs. Followed by 22% at extremely important. Third, slightly important at 18%. Moderately important, 9%. And not important at all at 7%. Thank you. Next section is infrastructure, and here we're trying to gauge how you all feel about infrastructure resiliency, sustainability, modernization, and connectivity. First question, how satisfied are you with street and road maintenance in your area? I've been asking in the last 2 sessions for residents to be kind, given the time of year. Have mercy on us. So, very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, or very dissatisfied. More people added to play this one. Oh boy. Okay, so we have 47% of you dissatisfied. It's better than very dissatisfied at 23%. Followed by neutral at 19%, satisfied at 9%, and very satisfied at 2%. Only
That's
one of you?
one person.
Well, They were honest, thank you very much. All right. Second question for infrastructure. How well is the city planning for future infrastructure needs, such as broadband, smart systems, vehicle or electric vehicle readiness? Very well, well, neutral, poor, or very poor? All right, so 22 of you, 49% are neutral on this, followed by 24% at poorly. Then we've got 18% at well, and then 9% as very poorly. So much of this data we can flesh out during our discussion breakout groups. How satisfied are you with the quality and upkeep of city parks, open spaces, and trails near you? And this is the final question for infrastructure. Very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, or very dissatisfied? All right, we have 37%, 17 of you are satisfied, followed by 20%, 9 of you dissatisfied. Oh, nope, I forgot very satisfied. That's the second at 22%, followed by dissatisfied at 20%, neutral at 17%, and very dissatisfied at 4%. So 2 of you. All right, now we're into the housing priority area. We're focused here on getting an understanding of your feelings on affordability, accessibility, stability, and neighborhood vitality. First question, how concerned are you about housing affordability in Colorado Springs? Extremely concerned, very concerned, moderately concerned, slightly concerned, or not concerned at all? All right, so 52% extremely concerned. That's kind of registering from the last 2 sessions. 39% very concerned, followed by not concerned at all at 7%, and then moderately concerned at 2%. So, second question for housing. How supportive are you of new housing developments in your neighborhood that include affordable housing options? Strongly supportive, supportive, neutral, opposed, strongly opposed. All right, so we have 43% strongly supportive. Awesome. Followed by supportive at 27%, neutral at 14%, opposed at 11%, and strongly opposed at 5%. And those numbers are very different than the last 2 sessions. Yep. Way more supportive in this restrictive housing options. Okay. So, third and final question for housing. How effective are the city's partnerships and strategies in addressing homelessness and housing instability in our community? Extremely effective, very effective, moderately effective, slightly effective, or not effective at all. Okay, so not effective at all at 35%, followed by a tie at slightly effective and moderately effective at 33%, but no very effective or extremely effective. Sad face. Okay, so that was the last question for housing priority area. Now we're moving on to economic vitality, and here we're trying to gain an understanding of how you all feel about our workforce readiness, business climate, innovation, and inclusive growth. So, first question. How would you rate the city's efforts to support local businesses and entrepreneurs? Excellent, good, fair, poor, very poor. Okay, moved fast. Fair is 48%, followed by good at 29%, poor at 14%, and then there's a tie between very poor and excellent. Wow, 5% for both. All right. So, second question. How important is it for the city to focus on workforce development and job training programs? Extremely important, very important, moderately important, slightly important, and not important at all. All right, so we have 49% extremely important, followed by very important at 28%, moderately important at 12%, not important at all at 9%, and slightly important at 2%. Final economic vitality question. How well are economic opportunities shared across different neighborhoods and populations? Very well, well, neutral, poorly, or very poorly? All right, that was a quick one. So, 38% poorly. Oop, nope, very poorly. 50%, excuse me. 50% at very poorly, 38% at poorly, followed by neutral at 7%, and well and very well are tied at 2%. All right. So, final strategic priority area, community activation. And here we're trying to gain an understanding of civic engagement, your thoughts on volunteerism and quality of life. So, first question. How connected do you feel to your neighborhood and local community? Extremely connected, very connected, moderately connected, slightly connected, or not connected at all? All right, we have very connected at 30%, followed by slightly connected at 28%, moderately connected at 23%, not connected at all at 13%, and then extremely connected at 8%. So it'll be good to hear some ideas that may come about during your discussion. of this strategic priority area. Second question. How likely are you to participate in city programs, services, or volunteer efforts? Extremely likely, very likely, somewhat likely, slightly likely, or not likely at all. All right, we have 41% at very likely, followed by somewhat likely at 27%, extremely likely at 22%, and then a tie between slightly likely and not likely at all at 5%. Last question for community activation. How well does a city reflect resident input in its decision making? Very well, well, neutral, poorly, or very poorly. So we've got neutral at 38%, very poorly and poorly are tied at 24%, followed by well at 12% and very well at 2%. I'd like to hear more about that. Some ideas when we go to the breakout discussion. Final two questions related to the city budget. The first, we'd like to gauge an understanding of how well you all are familiar with how the city allocates its resources. So, how well do you understand how the city budget works and how its resources are allocated? Very well, well, neutral, not well at all. All right, so we've got 30% at not well, followed by not well at all at 25%, then well at 20%, and very well and neutral tied at 13%. This gives us an idea of how much more enlightenment we should provide the community on city budget and the allocation of resources. So thank you for that. And very final question, which of these should be the city's top priority for 2026 of our 5 strategic priority areas? Should it be public safety, infrastructure, housing, economic vitality, or community activation? So 33% said infrastructure. We had a top infrastructure selection at the last session, followed by public safety and housing being tied at 23%, economic vitality at 18%, and community activation at 3%. Thomas, we put it on the map. Yay! All right. So thank you for playing our game. That really helps us as we move into the next segment of our program, which is the discussion portion. So when many of you came or registered, you identified of the 5 priorities which you would like to talk further about. We said, what are your top 2 choices? We tried the best that we could to put you in your first choice for the first round, and the second choice, the second round. So how this is going to go, as you walked in this evening, you walked by a series of tables. Those tables are identified by strategic priority area. There are 2 tables per strategic priority area. We tried to facilitate comfortable seating. with about 4 to 6 people total at those tables, so you'll have a facilitator and a scribe. If we need to adjust, we'll do so. If there's too many at one or not enough at the other, we'll try to combine. So you'll have 2 rounds. So the first round is 22 minutes, second round is 22 minutes. I will come and keep us honest, let you know when we're halfway, and let you know when we need to wrap up, as we're going to be going into the second round of discussion. So the second round, you just go to your second priority area. When you came in, the greeter probably told you about which priority area you are beginning in. So if you want to stand up and make your way out into the hallway space, grab a snack, because you can only leave the snacks out there. And if you want to get out of here by 8:30, I want to be mindful of your time. We want to get a head start. So as Mayor is making his way up on the stage, I just want to say thank you. This has been our most well-attended session thus far. We've got 49 residents. And I just think it makes for such great conversation. So as I was going through and telling you guys all about the time I was listening in, I want to thank you all, because we need your ideas. We need your suggestions for us to continue to progress forward as we move through the strategic plan. So, and that's what your feedback is going to do for us. So at this time, Mayor Yemi and Councilmember Gold are going to share with us their reflection of what they heard you share during the live polling, as well as what they heard you talk about as they walked through and listened to some of the discussion. That's going to be important because in the next few weeks, I will be reaching out to all of you who've registered to follow up with you on this district summary of what was shared. You'll also be able to go to our website and find information on what was shared in this district as well. So I want to turn things over to Mayor and Councilmember Gold to share their reflections with us.
Okay, thank you. I was really pleased to go around and hear some spirited conversation. For the sake of time, though, I will keep my remarks brief. I did hear several folks mention community engagement activation. So I do want to share that we have released 2 Southeast Strong newsletters. Those are coming out bi-weekly, and we will follow up with a link so that you can sign up for those. And also in that, I heard that some folks wanted more information on the impact of utilities, so I can commit to adding a little blurb there about what's happening with utilities. While I have the microphone, I do want to acknowledge State Senator Tony Exum. Okay, you can get Dr. English then.
And the one and only Representative Dr. English. I did miss one of the Southeast finest leaders and legends. And I'm sorry, I didn't even know where she's at now. June Waller, where are you at?
We all aspire to be as agile and stealth as Mrs. June Waller when we are in our 80s. The last thing I just want to say, in doing that Southeast Strong newsletter, I believe Dr. Sonia is still around right back there in the green sweater. Yes. I really want to shout her out because she has graciously offered translation services so that the Southeast Strong newsletter will be both in English and Spanish.
So we're honored to have you. Thank you.
And lastly, this Sunday we have a really exciting event happening in the Southeast. The Southeast Food Coalition will be doing the farmers market, the kickoff to our farmers market. So please make sure to support that. It will be from 11 to 3 p.m. So after church, before church, make sure you go and support the Southeast Food Coalition. And always remember that Southeast Solid Rock Community Development Corporation has our food pantry as well. So thank you. That's all I need, Mayor Yemi.
Thank you, Councilmember Gold. What Courtney mentioned, that she's not wrong. This is probably my favorite town hall so far. Don't tell the others. You all showed up. You all engaged. I love the layout, the community conversation. I'm really sorry I couldn't make it out to every table. And I'm sorry for being the one that was disrupting your conversation, because I can't help myself but say hi to people I haven't seen in a while. So thank you for stepping up. Thank you for showing up. My call to action is that you show up on the ballot too. We need you to show up on the ballot as well. Will you? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So I'm going to keep mine short as well. Then Council Member 9, just want to open up for 2 or 3 questions from the audience that you may have for us. But here are some of the major themes. Like every listening session, report out tour we've had, infrastructure is the top concern. Closely followed by public safety and housing. What's different about this district is not only are you saying we want more housing, you're also saying yes, build it in my backyard. That is refreshing for me, because to be told we need more housing but not know where to put it is challenging. So thank you for your feedback, and thank you for your desire for safe communities. That's really important. If safe city is a great city, and a great city is a safe city. Our fire department, police officers are working hard, but we can't do it alone. We need you. And so I was pleased to hear there's a hunger for community-based solutions. Like, you realize that it's not just government, the community has to show up. So I ask you to step up and lead the way for the rest of the city in what community-based solutions look like. And invite my team to the table, my police officers, my firefighters. We will show up. We want to partner with you. And this goes to my last point. Of the 3 town halls we've done, what makes this one stand out too is your desire to volunteer and serve the city is probably the strongest. I've always believed democracy is best served when residents show up at the decision-making table. It's not just city government, it's all of us. So your score around your desire to participate was very strong. And that's why I'm not surprised. There's a hunger to step up, to be a part of the solutions as a community. There's a lot of specific feedback that was given. My team was capturing it, especially my mayor's fellows. Please stand up, let them see you. If you're part of the Mayor's Civic Leadership Fellow Question Program, let's see you. These are excellent business leaders, nonprofit leaders. They know right, but also stepping up to serve you as well. So they're taking notes. We will crunch that data. We'll get back to you, and know that this data will help inform how I and my team continue to work on your behalf. Okay? So in the last 10 minutes, Courtney's the boss. All right. Well, Courtney says I can get 3 questions in 10 minutes, and she gives me permission. All right. Who has any burning question to ask of your mayor or your council member? Yes, ma'am.
So for somebody who does want to get engaged with how the city functions, what committees are available to join without being an elected person?
That's a great question. For someone, the question is for someone who wants to get engaged in city government or just get engaged in the city without running for office. What opportunities are there? Plenty of opportunities from the classic boards and commission to our solutions teams to teams of residents that we need to join us in many of the initiatives that we're working on. And I have about 21 different departments, and many of them need to do their work in close proximity with you all. They need to ensure that you're giving them feedback. So when I talk about the Parks Master Plan, that's one that is active right now, where we're seeking input from the community to help shape that plan. So what we really need to do, ma'am, is to get your contact information. I'll make sure one of my team members get a hold of you, and then most likely Danielle Somerville, who I don't think Danielle's here tonight. Danielle and then Thomas, who is here tonight? Thomas. So maybe I can connect you with Thomas. Both part of my mayor's office of community engagement. The whole essence of that office, when I created it, is to bring the mayor's office to the community and the community to the mayor's office. Because I'm just one person, we're a city of 500,000 people, but we do need to engage our residents. So let's connect you with Thomas. And thank you for that important question. Yes, Woody.
Hey, Councilman, we've been inundated with literature about bad people. How is that going to impact us? And if you live in the state, how does the city come down?
Well, you have to give it a political one. Thanks, Woody. The question is about Carmen line annexation and questions about the impact to residents. How many of you know what we're talking about? Oh, wow. All right. Okay, kind of fun fact. Sarah Johnson. Yes. Sarah Johnson, my city clerk, reported that the ballots that have been returned for this special election is actually ahead of the April election. By how many percent? 5,000. By 5,000. Come on. Yeah. That's impressive. So thank you all. And again, getting back, District 4, come on, show up, put a ballot. We need more and more of you to vote. So let me give you from my perspective. What's on the ballot is whether or not, and I'm saying it not so much from the technical aspect of it, I'm putting myself as a citizen, because many of our residents believe they're voting for or against our city growing too fast. So I think what's on the ballot from your perspective is growth versus what I believe is a process and a way of doing things. Now, I welcome the tension many of our residents have around growth, because our city's growing too fast. We're the largest geographic city in the state, and those are all the right questions. What I worry about, though, what's happening on the ballot is the end justifies the means, and it starts a trend that leads to the end of any kind of meaningful growth or housing opportunities for the future of our city. So, even though you don't like Carmeline, if you're part of the camp that doesn't like Carmeline, what you have to appreciate is they've gone to a 2-year process of meeting the requirements of the water ordinance that went into effect 2.5 years ago, or 3 years ago. It's been through planning commission, a group of everyday unpaid residents like you who are listening to these land development issues. It passed. It went through city council. It passed. 7-2. It went through utilities and their processes. It passed. And city government. It passed. And what I worry about is the moment you remove the democratic process and the representative government, why do we even have that to begin with if we don't trust our process of getting to the outcome? So let's say we get our way, or you get your way with repealing the annexation. In the future, it could be your private property where you decide you want to do something with it, and the neighbor says, well, I don't like it. Let's take it to the ballot. I don't believe that's how we make decisions. Now, if you don't like the direction, that's where we keep saying, let's show up, let's change the laws, run for office. But a society where the end justifies the means is a slippery slope. And once we open that door, there's no closing it. It's the next issue. It's the next issue. And guess what? It costs all of us money. This special election is $500,000 that we don't have. In 2 months, if another group of people run a special election, another 500,000. If you don't like anything, let's just get it to the ballot, another 500,000. And this becomes the new norm. So as your mayor, that's what I'm fighting for, and that's what my biggest concern around the ballot initiative is. All right, did you want to give any input? I don't want to leave you out.
I believe there was a question about getting involved in the community, and I believe that getting involved in local government is absolutely vital. I do also want to plug Rise Southeast while we have them in the room. And that is led by Joyce Salazar here in the second row. She shows up every time in every room, and this is one of the fastest way to get involved is by becoming a resident leader. Rise Southeast meets monthly, so and this is resident-led change, so I cannot emphasize that enough. And when it comes to Carmen Line, what I will say is we have something very important on the ballot. But as voters, I think sometimes the question we should be asking ourselves is not only what is on the ballot, but why is it on the ballot? And that's something that I believe every person in this room has to do their own personal research on. And that is, a part of that is showing up to events like this, and really getting involved in what's happening in local government. And as a newly elected councilor, when I tell you desperately, we need more representation. I say that with every fiber of my being. We need more people to show up so that we can have the kind of Colorado Springs that collectively we all want, and it's not certain groups of people making decisions on their own behalf.
Really, thank you for that question. And Woody and Carlos Nunez are both on the mayor's, my strategic advisory group. So it's a group of residents and city team members who are holding me accountable and city government accountable to make sure we are following through on our promises to you all. So thank you both for your service on that team as well. All right, one more question. We'll call it thank you, your cake beat you to it. Rock, paper, scissors, okay? Okay, by the way, let's give it up for the kiddos in the house, too. This is the future leaders of our community.
She asked, what's it like being the mayor?
Oh, thank you for that question. How old are you? 8? Okay, my daughter just turned 18. I see you. How do I like being the mayor? It is by far the hardest job I've ever had in my life. And by far the most rewarding job I've ever had in my life. And those two things come with the territory. Your whole life is public. Every decision is public. Every decision, half of the people are excited, half of the people are not happy. And when you don't have a political home, it can feel very homeless, and very politically homeless. And sometimes you feel alone, but I also know there are a lot of great people in this community that are praying for me, that care for me, and I hear from them all the time, even though I don't get to see them. And that encourages me to keep going. And some of those people are in this room today. I love your question. Thank you. Let's give it up. Are you going to 3rd grade? Okay. That's when you start learning about civic government. Y'all come to your class. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate your time. God bless you all. Thank you.